Hello everyone, Emmanuel Adebola here, and I'm excited to welcome you to yet another edition of the Impact Forum. With me today is a wonderful lady who's known by several titles. Her name is Nkechi Nwafor-Robinson. She's a second generation immigrant to Canada. She's had several titles, including in the financial industry where she's been technology lead for different banks. She's also I'll call you a motivational speaker. I'm not sure if that's the right title.
Yes.
And she's looked upon by many women as a role model. Nkechi has figured something out that she hopefully will share today, and I hope that you will sit down and enjoy this session. Welcome, Nkechi.
Thank you. There's only one correction though.
Okay.
I think I'm looked at by humans.
Not just women.
Not just women.
I like that. And it's true because, you're operating at that level where you're actually an inspiration to both.
Yeah, I think so far as you're human.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And it's great to see you back on your feet.
Thank
and I mean
you.
that literally. Because not long ago, she took a surgery that took her out of circulation for a while. And she's back on her feet literally now. And
crossing my legs.
Yes, can see. Tell us what that experience was and what you learned about yourself in that period.
Yeah, first of all, actually shout out to the Canada health system because it was one of those situations where I was truly blessed, and I just believe God knew, God guided me, and I've been active my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in competitive sports.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the biggest. I used to play competitive soccer, football. And then after that, I decided to compete in bodybuilding.
That's the one I know. I didn't know about soccer.
And so I think over the years, just just genetically, and then also just through sports, I started to have sort of misalignment with my body. Anyway, fast forward to last October, after a year of working with my chiro and all this kind of feeling knee pains and all this and the other, I had found I was doing some fascial stretch therapy work, and then I had this groin pain that was lingering. My mother-in-law, God bless her, said, "You know what? Go and get an X-ray." So this was literally October of 2025. My doctor got my X-rays. She called me. She says, "You have stage 4. Stage 4.
Wow. Stage 4 is never a good
Stage 4 osteoarthritis." I was like, what happened to 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
How the heck did I get to stage 4? And so she referred me to a hip assessment.
Okay.
And literally that happened in November. And they were so marveled at the fact that I was actually operating and still working out not really complaining too much about sort of what people would experience with stage 4. That they said, "You know what? We're going to do the X-rays again." And I remember for 30 minutes, I was like, "Oh, maybe God got it wrong," right? But no, it came back and they said, "Wow, whatever you're doing to manage your pain, keep doing it." So they confirmed that I needed an operation, a surgery, a replacement, and they referred me to a surgeon. I literally had heard stories. I thought it was going to be 6 months to a year before I was able to, but they literally called me 3 weeks later, if that long.
Wow.
They referred me to a surgeon. I went to the surgeon, black surgeon, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
And they were offering me January as my operation date. And I was like, well, I can't do January. So then I was able to get my operation in February. So if you think about a short period of time from being diagnosed to actually having a hip replacement. And the great thing about orthopedics right now is the idea is to get you back on your feet right away. So I had one overnight, and then I had 4 weeks of rest and just recovering. And I was back on my feet walking a day after, but not walking with a walker and a cane.
I saw footages.
Yeah, of that. I was with a walker, and then I moved on to a cane, and then I eventually, let go of those assisted devices. But I think what's remarkable is I thought, you kind of think when you don't know that your life is over.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this, but orthopedic surgery is excruciating.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a lot on your body. And so I remember sitting there in the early days wondering, how on earth am I ever going to move again?
Yeah.
You actually can't think about getting yourself to a space. But But luckily I have some really, really great friends. My family just really rallied around me. And so I think the biggest lesson I learned was about being able to ask for help.
I see.
Because I could not do it on my own, you know. So my husband had to, like, he was definitely home nursemaid.
Okay.
And then my friends took shifts. You know, I have another friend that made sure I had all of the equipment I needed. People, just family. Family was there from the operation right till I was able to walk again, and making sure I was okay every step of the way. Nkechi had to learn to receive help and also ask for help, because you can't do something like that by yourself. And then I had friends that just kind of put things in my calendar that would encourage me to like challenge myself a little bit more. So I was literally on stage motivating people, humans, within 2 weeks of my surgery. Mind you, I had to use my walker and I had to use my cane. And I share that because there was periods of shame, right? Like I was like, am I going to be able to motivate people having a walker and a cane when that's not something I've ever really done before? But I share this because motivation is not about the walker or the cane. It's from within, right? And so as you go through life and there's challenges and there's adversity that are sort of external forces, I think the most important thing is to recognize that everything that you need to get through that doesn't come from external. It's from God. Like it's internal. And if there's anything, it's about connecting yourself to that experience from an internal perspective, to be able to be resilient and kind of get through. And so if the best compliment I've ever received was that day, it was from a woman who said, I've seen you on stages jumping around, the music's playing and all this, any other. But today's the day that I felt like you're the most powerful.
Wow.
You know, and so it was a reminder for me that it doesn't matter whatever that you're going through, everything that you need comes from within in order to be able to conquer it.
So you're re-energized for the next
I am re-energized. I am bionic now. I mean, it will take about a year before I get up and move without remembering that I have, but I'm certainly further along. And I mean, the only other thing I would talk about is health matters and habits matter. And so this was not the time for me to start to have healthy habits. It was the time for my healthy habits to pave the way. Yes, right. So, you know, don't discount life. When everything is great, that's the time to lock in, because and that's about anything, right? Like when you're any type of grief that you have to go through, it's when the grief is here is not the time that you're going to learn the things that you need to learn to get through it. So it's in the times where you're not having to go through that you've got to double down on things that are going to be able to carry you through.
That's interesting. By the way, if you're watching, Nkechi is on the latest edition of this magazine. That's her in the purple. Is it purple?
No,
purple,
the hair?
Purple hair, yes.
No, magenta. We call it magenta.
Magenta. Okay, so magenta. If you haven't gotten a copy of this, please do, because she shares a lot more about her story, being a second-generation immigrant, learning a lot from her parents. She always refers to her parents in her story, and there's so much more about her that we don't have the time to share. But tell me, what is it that really motivates you? Is it keeping the doubters in check who believe you can, like you rightly corrected me now about you being an inspiration not just to women, to men, or is it your desire to maximize all the resources that you have? What keeps you waking? What keeps the blood pumping, if you will?
I'm going to say thank you for that question, because I think it evolves. And so where I am right now, as I sit here with you, it's going to be humans.
Yes.
You know, something that I heard you say when we prayed up the space before is that this experience that you and I are having is a moment in time.
Yes.
And it's going to produce an outcome that you are then going to share with the world.
Yeah.
And in this moment, you and I are interacting.
Yes.
But the power of this interaction is for a time in the future when somebody watching this not only watches it and feels empowered, because then they're empowered, but the empowerment is them then taking something from our interaction here and going and doing something else in the world.
That's right.
Right? And so as I sit here with you, my desire is the action that they go and take. It's not just this interaction. For me, it's like, am I here and positioning what I say, how you and I interact, the quality of the conversation we're going to have, the meaning behind everything. Is it powerful enough that through this camera lens that people are looking at us is going to excite them and empower them enough to go and take an action? And so if more of us think about that, think about how powerful interactions would be. And I often say, and it's not just reserved for me, that everything that passes by me is better because it did. And so when I walk into any type of interaction with another human being, with that being my purpose, then it's to leave you in the space of increase. It's to leave you feeling that empowered enough that you are going to take an action that's going to empower another human. And so every time I meet with a human being, I'm thinking about that next interaction. And I get to decide, do I leave them in a state of increase or a state of decrease? And I think most people intentionally would probably choose increase. But how often do we keep that on the forefront of our mind when we enter into an interaction?
Amazing.
And so in this period, in this time of my life, I think what excites me the most is being able to leave as many interactions as I have on a daily basis in that state.
Amazing. That's really inspiring, because you're living beyond now. That's what how somebody put it the other day. Living beyond now, being very aware of what you're doing and how it impacts not just this generation, but many people who will come to watch
legacy. It's legacy.
So that's good. That's good on you. And it's the earlier one understands that, the better, because somebody said that the longer the duration you take into consideration, the more accurate your decisions are. So
that's a good one.
Yeah. It's not my words.
but see exactly what I'm talking about. You probably had that conversation who knows when. And look how it is now being shared here. And somebody's going to watch this in a future time. And that's going to then or the power of empowerment, right? Like it's that domino effect. I love it.
But let's talk about you. There's one thing I like about you, is that you're living a full life. You're fully into technology space, where you are an advocate of AI, as I understand. You're also a speaker. You have your own brand, Empowered in My Skin. And then you're also traveling across the world, speaking engagement. How do you manage this, and how are you able to it's like you living everything now?
So I'm gonna because it could be really misinterpreted. So first of all, anyone that's watching this, that's the context of my life, right? But what I would say to you is like, and I borrow this statement from somebody who, Victoria Pelletier, who told me this, like, I want to say it's at least 4 years ago. Where there's conviction, there's capacity.
I see.
Right? And someone not being able to do their life's desires is likely because they're misaligned in the different things that they're doing. In everything that you just mentioned, my true line is am I doing things that enable me to empower a human, right? Because my mission is to help 1 billion people think in ways that are empowering. And so anything I say yes to has to be in support of that mission.
All right.
And so life is about figuring out what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And when you figure that out, then everything you should do is from the intention of that space. And then when you do that, then everything is harmonized and things are in alignment. The issue is when we get burnout and exhaustion and this and the others, chances are because all of these things, are probably not a mission they're not designed for your human, right? And they're not all aligned. So you're context switching and you're having to be something here and different something there. And so that's how I know I'm experiencing it. How it looks externally is that, wow, she's traveling here, she's speaking there, she's doing this and there. But if you kind of watch, it's the same true line. Empowered in My Skin is the business I founded to support that mission.
I see.
But at the end of the day, when I'm in work, which is my ministry, my empowered and my skin is alive in the work, in the way that I work, and the interactions that I have, and the things that I do. Same when I'm out with my friends, empowered, my skin's alive. Same when I'm on stages, you know what I mean? Like the mission, my life is to serve that mission.
Amazing. That's really. So let me then ask you a question, because with all the energy, I imagine that you face some obstacles, some pushback, some people asking, hey, take it easy. Either due to gender, due to color, or due to anything else. How have you navigated that? Yeah,
I know what people want to hear, but I know what people want to hear.
No, just tell us.
I have to share my story.
Yes.
Okay. Just really, really quickly. My parents,
Okay.
and you're Nigerian too, right?
I am.
My dad, God bless him, he's passed. My mom is still alive.
Okay.
But I'm 53, and I've never have once heard my parents refer to themselves as black.
Amazing.
And the reason I share that is foundation, like they're Nigerian, right? The skin color, the gender, the this, that, and the other is secondary. And like if I really think about when God created Nkechi Nwafor, I don't know what he chose first. I don't know if he chose me to be black. I don't know if he chose me to be female. I don't know if he chose me to be boisterous. I don't know if he, you know what I mean? To be exuberant, to have a big laugh. I don't know what order he made those characteristics of who I am. And so I haven't known not to lead from that way. You know what I mean? Like when I walk into a room, it is my human that's walking in. And so I would encourage everybody, like if you can start to think about, like when I walk into a room, I don't necessarily walk into a room and think I'm female. I don't walk into a room and think I'm black or a black, like an intersectionality of the both. I walk into a room and I know that I'm a human being that's bringing value into the room. And as a result of that, when I sit at the tables, I know what value I bring. You also are at the same table with your value. And I think I think the value, the benefit of that is because I know my value, I can make space for yours. Because chances, they have to be different, right? And then you make space for everything else. And then you create this beautiful tapestry where every human being in the room is carrying their own value and has the ability to have it sort of expressed in the way that it needs to. And when I leave, the dynamics of that room shift again, right? So it's that, knowing when you dip your toe into a room, the room shifts because you're in it. So but here's the thing, I am not blind to the inconsistencies of this world. And as a result of that, because of the rooms that I'm in, because of the spaces I occupy, I will do something about it because it's privilege. And so from a place of privilege, I will lean in to make sure that more women are in leadership or more women and black people are in technology. And then, so that becomes part of, that becomes part of my mission, right? Like in terms of how I advocate for things like that. But me, myself, never really has never walked into a room and have felt inadequate or disadvantaged, or that's the word, disadvantaged because of my race or my color. But I'm not blind to the fact that that is present. But I recognize that God has gifted me with a voice and an unapologetic approach to dealing with that and calling it out in the rooms that I occupy.
That's amazing, and that's good on you. So as we wrap up, let's talk about one of the responsibilities you have, which is being an advocate for AI adoption. How is that coming along? What would you like people to know? Especially people who are sitting on the fence, literally not sure what to do.
So first, I'll address the people that are on the fence with a great analogy. It's not mine. I owe this one to somebody who shared it once. Like if you think back to years ago, I want to say, you tell me, when do you recall it being important to put that I know Microsoft Outlook and Excel and like Office on my resume? How long ago do you think that was?
I started out in 1998. And I think I was just above, but this was in Africa. I imagine it was probably just a few years before that. So let's say 1995.
Right, but it was like you're so proud, right? Like, and then if you're an employer, you're looking. It might even come up in the interview, right? Well, I think that's the same going to be for AI. Like there's a short window of time where it's like, oh my gosh, like, do you have it?
Yeah.
You know, there's going to become a time where it's going to be assumed.
Yeah.
And so I say that for the people that are still sitting on the fence, like get off the fence and get into it. Like, it's here. It's not something that's coming. It's actually here. I think adoption starts there, is just recognizing that it's here. And then it's about then leaning into curiosity. And so I would say early in the adoption phase, like, it's always going to be about trying to get everybody on board.
Yeah.
But I'll give another analogy really quickly, is like, if you think about a tree and eventually branches fall off the tree, imagine AI as those branches, right? Like the people that were on an older branch and have now climbed onto a new AI branch. As that tree grows and the branches get pruned, everyone will get to keep whatever they're holding on to. And so my hope is that more people are holding on to AI branches, right? But driving the adoption really is about, one, starting with literacy. And then once people become a little bit more literate, and then you can move into fluency, right? Like, is understanding, well, what's your role? How are you using it? Whether it's in your personal life or at work, and then starting to help them become a little bit more role specific. And now what I'm actually thinking about, that I think AI is really powerful, is about helping us reset the defaults, right? So by that, for an example, is in my workplace, what I hope, even in my personal life, is like, that I'm actually testing out now, is I'm tired of going into my inbox and reading through my emails and figuring out and then formulating my replies. I'd rather go into my inbox and start to read replies to hit send.
I see.
So it's resetting the default, right? So AI we should also.
I think it already does that.
It can, but you still need to. You still actually need to set it up to be able to do that, right? And so, and a lot of people aren't there yet. But we should start thinking about, how do we start to reset shift right, right? So our starting point is further along, and everything that the AI can do is done to help us get there, right?
Yes. And I've actually benefited a lot from using AI for different things. I find I'm able to achieve a lot more with fewer resources because I have AI.
It's great for entrepreneurs, right? And there's so many, and I want to say, like, for the humans that are listening to this, like, you might be somebody that really understands sort of the foundations of AI. That might be it. If you're not, and you're more so like in the creator space, or I hate to say consumer, because I want more people to be, especially women. We have to stop being consumer of all of these things and be creators. But start to think about the human skills that are still needed, if more so now than ever before. You often see it. Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn talks about it a lot. It's in the World Economic Forum. But creative thinking, problem solving, workflow orchestration, like these are all of the things that as a human being you should learn how to do really, really well, because the AI can't do that. You still need to be the intelligence, right? Like, it's just advancing your intelligence, or augmenting or exponentially increasing your intelligence, but there still has to be a human in the loop, right?
Yeah, and that's not going away.
No, that's not going away.
Anyway, thank you so much for your time. It's always great listening to you, and I've been inspired just listening to you. So,
I told you that the humans will be inspired. Let everything that has breath.
Everything that has breath.
Praise the Lord.
All right. So on that note, before we turn this to a church service, this is. Thank you very much, and wishing you continued success.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now, everyone.
Bye.